What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents. This story's called Entitled Dad Leaves His Kids in the Lobby While He Goes to See a Movie. Obligatory mobile warning because my landlord won't fix the flippin' Wi-Fi. I work in a big movie theater that has 9 theaters and 2 bars. Up to a certain time, we're family friendly. Kids 4 to 14 are allowed to come with parents, and kids 15 to 17 can come by themselves. However, after 8 p.m., we stop renting the kids' movies, PG, and only kids 15 to 17 can come with parental supervision. One of the reasons for this is because there is a bar people hang out at. I'm working in one of the theaters playing Joker for the 9:15 showing, and a single ticket-wise guy came in and took his seat. I checked his ticket. Cool, he's good to go. About 10 minutes in, my manager comes into the station and points to this guy's seat on our seating chart. Here's the cast. There's Manager and Entitled Dad. That's a guy on his own, right? Yup, why, what's up?
He just dropped his 3 kids off in the bar area because they're too young to see Joker.
Basically, this dude had 3 kids. One was 12, the others roughly 10 and 7. He tried to get them all into Joker, but was told by our ticketer that they were too young, so he just left them there and went in by himself. According to manager, now the kids were wrecking the lobby and bar, knocking over our cardboard cutouts and screaming and whatnot. We go into the theater, and manager kneels down by Entitled Dad and politely and quietly tells him he can't leave his kids in our bar or lobby.
The oldest is 12, he can watch them. Sir, after 8, our age cutoff is 14, and they still need a parent with them.
Entitled Dad, not at all trying to be quiet.
Well, that's stupid. This is supposed to be a family-friendly neighborhood. That's just our policy. And your kids are causing a disturbance at our bar. You need to get them. Now. I'm watching a movie, man. Just send them to the park across the street.
Wow, what a great father. At this point, manager backs up and radios for security, who is this big, scary-looking guy who's naturally actually a big teddy bear. But he shows up, and when Entitled Dad sees him, he leaves without causing a scene. He muttered some crap about us and how we were all going to lose our business because we don't cater to parents, blah 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 blah. All in all, not super dramatic like some on here, I just thought he was a terrible parent. As a note, there have been a couple of robberies in the park across the street lately, so sending your young children over there at night is extra bad. Okay, this dude just sounds like a guy who has 3 kids but wants none of them. But he just stuck around and half-bootied it as a parent, when honestly they'd be better off with parents that actually care about them. But as it sounds like, they're already kinda not well-groomed, I should say. But anyways, that's sad, messed up. Parent your children, please. Love them too, you know, at least. That should be a prerequisite for parenthood, but obviously it's not. Goodness. This story is called Our Return Policy is 14 Days, Not 7 Years. I've worked at a retail store in Canada for a few years now. We get lots of entitled people attempting to return items that obviously have been worn or trying to haggle the prices. This is the one that stood out the absolute most to me. So I'm working my shift and hanging the new shipment of orders to be able to put out on the tables when this older lady comes in with her daughter. Anyone who's worked retail knows the look of a customer who's about to ruin your day. So I took a long sip of my coffee before putting on my customer service voice. Hi, how can I help you? She cut me off while throwing a jacket onto the table. I have a return. The zipper broke and I paid a lot of money for this. I bought it for my daughter and I'd rather get her something new. Oh, of course. Do you have a receipt with you? I wasn't aware I needed one. Could you just process the return without one? Of course, I just need... And then I noticed that the few years I've worked here, I've never once seen this jacket on our hangers. I looked at it longer and noticed the black tag did indeed say our company's name. I'd rather just get cash so I can purchase something I actually like. Sorry, but when was this purchased? Our return policy is 14 days with receipt and in-store credit for up to 30 days after. I've just never seen this jacket on our floor. Are you calling us liars? Look at the tag. Obviously it's your store's jacket. I can't remember when I purchased it, but the zipper's ruined and clearly wasn't worth buying. I understand completely. I'm just going to call a higher up over so they can verify the jacket. Cue the moaning and groaning from the mother and having her repeatedly tell me I clearly can't do my job while I'm desperately waving at my manager. This is ridiculous. Just give me my money so I can buy my daughter something better.
Hi, so this jacket is actually from our winter collection from a few years ago. We can't take it back as it's been
Are you being serious? My daughter is going to freeze now. She needs a better jacket. Give me my money back.
I'm sorry, but our return policy is 14 days, not 7 years. You don't have a tag to even be able to ring this thing through. We don't have it in our system, and you don't have a receipt. Sometimes when a jacket gets older, it wears and tears. But it seems your daughter must have gotten a good few years out of it.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I take my children here and you will never have my business ever again. No, this is terrible service. It's broken. We deserve compensation. I don't want this. Give me my money back. I want a new jacket. My daughter will freeze without it.
I'm sorry? We can't accept this as a return. Feel free to look around for a newer jacket, but this is all I can do for you. I hope you have a great day, and I'm sorry we couldn't please you. My manager turns around and starts going back to helping with stock. The entitled pair took this as their best shot at bullying me into giving money back, but I physically couldn't even if I wanted to. No tag and no receipt means there's no barcode to even enter into the system. I just blatantly ignored them and started unpacking another box.
Well, you are ridiculous and should be fired. Ignoring me and refusing return? This is illegal.
And with that, she grabbed the coat off my stock table, and not just the coat, she grabbed a pair of jeans that were still in the packaging and started darting towards the door with her daughter. I quickly grabbed the phone to ring security in our mall to rush over while my manager ran over to try and block them from leaving. Our manager has a super strict, super stupid policy against grabbing the item back without security there. So the best we could do was block them and follow them. Security managed to grab it back and they were banned from entering our store. Sadly, not the entire mall, but I can still have a smug look on my face when the entitled daughter enters, and I can remind her that she's not welcome in our store all because of a wear and tear zipper. Man, don't you absolutely hate it when you explain store policy to someone and they just keep relenting? Like, what do you expect the person to do? Break the rules? Get in trouble or fired just to help a rude person out? I know I shouldn't expect entitled individuals to think rationally, as it's obviously not within their abilities, but still, this is just insanely frustrating. I am so sorry to all you retail workers out there that deal with entitled people way too darn often. You have my sympathy and my thanks. This story's called No Anniversary Gift? I'm Calling the Cops. I love my mom, and it's taken me a while, and reading a lot of the posts here, to realize I have things to post here too. This happened in August 2017. I had been busy with work for several weeks, and I forgot to send a card or a gift to my mom for her and my stepdad's anniversary. However, on the date of the event, I sent text messages and pics wishing them all the best and figured that would suffice and Mumsy would understand. Apparently, she did not. The next day was a Sunday and I had been super exhausted by several weeks of working 10 to 12 hours a day. So I skipped church and opted to sleep in with my phone's ringer turned off. I finally wake up around 1 p.m. and decide to just bum around the house. My hubby was super understanding and agreed to make food runs as needed so I wouldn't have to cook or anything. I happened to grab my phone to text a friend of mine and noticed that it was ringing, so I answered it. The person on the other end identified himself as a state trooper and notified me that I was about to be visited by local police for a welfare check. Very confused, I asked him why and who would need to be checking up on me as my husband was in the same room with me and I was clearly okay because I answered the phone. The state trooper politely just asked me to answer the door and comply with the policeman's request and to have a photo ID ready for verification purposes. 20 minutes later, a local policeman shows up at my door in full riot gear. Kevlar vest, helmet, extra gun clips, the whole shebang, and asks me to show my photo ID. I complied and he asked me why I hadn't called my mother recently. I couldn't help myself from replying that I had been busy and oh yeah, I was just shy of my 43rd birthday for Pete's sake. He stated that she had contacted several levels of law enforcement within my state. She's in another state nearly 1,200 miles away, by the way, which is why he was dispatched to my home.
I thanked him for his follow-up, not his fault he was there after all, and promised to call my mom. He left. I went back in my house, and looking at my phone, I noticed that I had 32 missed calls in the span of 2 hours. My voicemail was completely full. I decided to call my mom before even listening to the voicemails for fear another cop would get dispatched to my residence. I called my mom and asked if she was okay. She didn't even say hello, she just blurted out, "I didn't get an anniversary gift from you, so I assumed you were dead." I couldn't help but reply, "Sorry to disappoint." I asked her if she had gotten my text messages wishing her a happy anniversary, and she just said, "Oh yeah, I don't check my phone that much." But she used it to call me repeatedly and harass several different law enforcement agencies 5 states away. I politely advised her that I felt it would have been more appropriate for her to have received an anniversary gift from her husband than her daughter. And if she felt her gift was lacking, she should take it up with him. I hung up before she could respond and ignored the rest of her calls and texts that day. I finally listened to the voicemails. As I suspected, the more voicemails she left, the angrier they sound. Not full of concern, not worried that something was legitimately wrong, not even a trace of alarm for my well-being, no. Just angrier and angrier that she thought I was ignoring her. She had left 8 voicemails before one from a state trooper advising me that they would make one more attempt to reach me before alerting local police. Then mom left 2 more after that before my voicemail was full. None of my mom's voicemails indicated she had contacted authorities to hunt me down. The last 4 mentioned not sending an anniversary present and were the most angry sounding. That was over 2 years ago, and it's taken me a little time to move past it. It's now a running joke between us, and every time I get her voicemail instead of her, I simply leave this message. "Hi mom, it's me. I'm just calling you so you don't call the cops," and hang up. Whenever she returns the call, I like to answer with, "Still not dead," but she doesn't find that as funny as I do, which is why I do it. Okay, not that I'm defending the mother or her actions, which are both stupid. The mother's stupid and the actions were stupid, but I will say this. If she remembered to text and send pictures and all that jazz for the anniversary, wouldn't it make sense to be like, "Oh, a gift too," because obviously the mother was expecting a gift because that's something the daughter's done in the past. So I just feel like that's a bad excuse or a bad reason or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, why call the cops? How ridiculous of a person do you have to be to do that? How many people's time are you wasting? Your own? Several levels of law enforcement apparently? The daughters? Like, come on man, it's an anniversary. No one gives a crap about it other than you and maybe your husband. This story is titled, "Entitled Mother Know-It-All Abandons Her Teenage Child to Sleep in a Train Station in a Foreign Country." I generally refrain from using terms such as narcissist, even for the worst offenders, because hey, it's a medical condition, and some people are just anal sphincters. But this lady is the only one I dare use the term for. Beyond that, she is very, very entitled and self-centered. Background: I work with teens on a variety of projects that sometimes involve traveling to foreign countries. I've been doing this for 2 years, and while it's stressful and low-paying, I love my work enormously. One of the teens who joined our projects, great teen from now on, is this entitled mother's daughter. She's really smart and hardworking, and also used to being the responsible adult amongst incompetent grown-ups because that's what growing up with such a creature for a mom does to a kid. By that I mean, this lady will often force great teen to watch her younger one instead of attending her rehearsals, take her to school, put her to bed, etc. The mom never cooked, so great teen has serious health issues, anemia, low calcium, eating disorders, etc. She doesn't take great teen to the hospital when she's sick for months, etc, etc. There's more I could add, just know that she is an awful parent, not just an entitled one. The story. After the latest summer camp I'd organized, entitled mother contacted me to see if I'd be interested in going on an Erasmus Plus project with great teen and a friend of hers. This sort of project means you attend workshops, do some activities specific to the theme, all in exchange for free travel and accommodation. I hadn't participated in one before, but I knew the structure and the particular topic of this project interested me a lot. So I said yes, thinking I'd be the coordinator. This is where her entitlement first kicks in, because after I'd accepted, I found out that no, it's actually her boyfriend, useless man-child, now her ex, who will hold this title. As entitled mother wants this project to be a birthday gift for him, sort of like an all-expenses-covered vacation. My alarm bells went off, but it was too late to back out at that point. Despite useless man-child being the group coordinator, entitled mother still relied on me to figure out flights, accommodation, train connections, everything. I fully regretted ever saying yes to this person, but again, too late to back out. In search for cheap accommodation for the days traveling to and from the project, not covered in the E+ budget, I found a nice, cheap room on Airbnb. Entitled mother wanted me to book it, but I had no funds on my card, so I told her the booking should be made from her daughter's account. I repeatedly stressed not to book the place from her own account because of a variety of reasons. It goes against the Airbnb policy, and most important to the story, we would not be able to contact the hosts while there through the platform, or have the address and details available, and so on. Of course, entitled mother didn't listen. I found out on the night before traveling, so I kept pushing for useless man-child to get the accommodation address from her, since I wanted nothing to do with her by this point. Travel day arrives, and we have a grueling day-long flight schedule. Useless man-child is busy getting drunk in a bar near the layover airport while I make my way with the teens through the labyrinth of gates. He still doesn't have the address until shortly before we board the plane. We land with some delay and start making our way towards the address on the public transport. Entitled mother told the hosts we'd arrive around 11 p.m., which was actually the time we finally left the airport. But no matter, they said they had a late check-in until 1 a.m. Due to some mishaps with Google Maps, we get there at 12:45. I start calling the buzzer and knocking on the door, but nobody replied. I call entitled mother to get a phone number from her to contact the hosts, but she doesn't reply. She is already asleep. So we take a moment to catch our breath and take in the situation. Great Teen still tries to come up with other ways of getting in contact with her entitled mother. We make fun about maybe sleeping in the nearby police station. We decide to make our way to the train station and wait for the earliest train. At this point, we've already been traveling for over 12 hours, and we're exhausted, dirty, and cold. In the train station, the guard begrudgingly allows us to sleep in the waiting room, where there's a weird Ukrainian who, as a hello, gestures that if we need to go to the toilet, we'd have to use the small trash bins in the room. Yes, seriously. Because, as I said, we weren't allowed to leave that room until the station officially opened. And also because the bathrooms were locked, lest the junkies should attempt to shoot up in there. Useless man-child doesn't care and is the first to fall asleep. The teens and I are more concerned about where we could charge our drained phones, who's gonna stay awake to keep an eye on the luggage, and the fact that it's cold and we have nowhere to pee. Great Teen finally falls asleep, followed by her friend. I rummage through my bags to find something to cover them since it's really cold. I finally crashed around 4:30, when Great Teen was awoken by entitled mother. Entitled mother blamed the whole thing on the hosts, and I was just too exhausted to even get mad anymore. Entitled mother texts Great Teen to let her know that she used her usual Karen powers to bully the hosts into providing us with a free night for our return. I felt bad for them since I still don't think they were in any way responsible for the screw-up. We are currently still on the project, useless man-child is still useless, and Great Teen is still great. I haven't answered entitled mother's calls or texts since that night, and she understood not to contact me anymore. As for me, I came up with a little song and rhyme in my language that goes along the lines of, "Your mom is dumb, she don't know how to read," that I use as a mantra whenever annoyance bubbles up regarding entitled mother. It sounds way funnier in my language. Hopefully we'll have a place to sleep on the trip back. Man, that is screwed up. Okay, having to sleep in a foreign train station must be absolutely terrifying. Okay, that makes me think of Pursuit of Happiness when Will and Jaden Smith had to sleep in the subway restroom because they had no money, they were homeless, and all that stuff. Sad movie, and this is a messed up story. And there's not really any silver lining to this at all other than the fact that they're okay now. But anyways, this sounds like something you would have to call CPS about because I don't know if they're from America or if they have child protective services in whatever country they're from, but that is definitely a CPS case. Wow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.